I hope everybody is okay and doing the best they can. This is a question from Jen from New Jersey and now Pennsylvania. Sorry, Jen. The question is, why does it sometimes feel like we're starting over, as if we're new to it all, especially with our meditation process? So this is a question that is really interesting to me, as well as many people who have meditated for any period of time. There's sometimes an engagement within ourselves that seems to be nervous or afraid that something will change inside of us in areas that we don't want change to occur. This is not unusual at all, actually. It's happened to so many folks. It certainly happened to me a number of times. And when you look at it, you can really sit back and wonder about the construct of our personality and how, in a kind of a way, we value it so much. I think it's more that we're so used to being in certain ways and having certain responses and feeling certain ways of how you need to feel you, almost. Something like that. Meditation is fascinating. There's an increase in an internal development that allows you to suddenly start watching you and how you function. It's just as if it's an automatic. It begins to occur after a period of time. The dilemma in even that little aspect, which is probably not so small, is that you start to realize that there are features of your personality that you don't even pay any attention to, but you kind of like. And then you realize it's not necessarily even that you like it. It's more that you're used to it. And it's something that you have done all your life, and you kind of get to feel as if, even though you don't know it consciously, there's a reflex inside of you that plays out how you have been before. It's almost like a tonal thing. There is a tonal reference, and I remember asking folks to see if they could pay attention to a sense inside or a tone inside of them and recognize that it may be a tone that's being constructed from the time of their birth, certainly in the early years of their life, 0 to maybe 19 or 20 or whatever. You have to try and figure out what that might be to you. And you have various reference tones, and they slide in to you as an adult on a continual basis, and you hold those dear to you, not knowing that you're even doing that, by the way. And I find that very fascinating. It's something that you can look at, and if you can look at it without judging it, then you begin to realize that we're kind of fearful that if there's any change in that department, we will be losing something that's tremendously important to us. And that, again, of course, I think may be a reflex, because we're not conscious of it. As we become more conscious of it, we get to see it. And if you're fortunate, you begin to wonder why that particular tone has become important to you. Even if you don't like the tone, it doesn't, under certain circumstances, it doesn't matter. It's still important. I think that has to do with the kind of expression that we call loving or caring that comes from the environment around you when you're younger. I could be wrong in that, but that's what I think. It might have an impact also from, if you believe in such a thing, other lifetimes. It's possible. There is so much that we don't know about those things. But considering them, we often come up with a kind of response mechanism that might be pretty close to judgment. And learning how not to judge those tones, even though we will come up with labels, define them in words, of course. That's what we do. But if we can get to the point where we can recognize them and wonder if we can allow ourselves to be kind of less judgmental about them, that might be helpful. It is true that when you go through different stages of meditation itself, that there is something within us that gets nervous about change. I think any of us who have been meditating for a while recognize that seems to be true. I think it's more in the line of fear that we will change again in a way that might affect us in our life in not a positive way. And that may or may not even be close to true. I happen to believe that things will change inside of us, but it's the familiar, being familiar with unconsciously about how we have engaged in life and moving familiar into a different place in those tones I was talking about that makes us nervous. Allowing yourself to recognize that is a possibility, but not necessarily is it negative. Might be helpful, but we're trained to defend and we're trained to judge. It doesn't take very much to try and figure that one out, but it's worth recognizing. Maybe recognizing as just something that all of us do. All of us do on this planet. We have a process of assessment that does not include all the elements of an engagement with life. We're very complex beings. And we simplify, and then we jump to conclusions. If we could recognize that we never have enough information about whatever is occurring, and we will come up with opinions based on, and that includes your own judgment of yourself and others, we'll come up with something that makes us, for the moment, feel as if we've accomplished something. And this is the nature of trying to allow yourself to feel comfortable within your own way of engaging with life. This is affected by meditation. Meditation allows you to have a gap or two, a moment or two, where you can allow yourself to rethink and recognize some things that maybe on a real look doesn't make as much sense as we think it is in our first first assessment. It's just a thought. You go on to say, Jen, that when you are meditating, you found that, I'll read it. Lately, there is something unfamiliar with my meditation experience. A change is occurring. It feels uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, not exactly the same as the tones that are referenced in recognizing how you were engaged before. It feels uncomfortable in a physical and mental way. And I'm uneasy with sitting in observation with it. You're trying to figure it out, and it's more like just taking a look at it and recognizing something is changing and you don't know what it is just yet. Additionally, I have the idea that meditation ramps up my intensity. If meditation provokes a kind of inner ability to understand differently than you could before, the personality will definitely be more intense because it doesn't want to see things any differently than what it did before, because it's the nature of that kind of habitual engagement that we've clung to, that we are aligned with. This is something that was well known in Hindu and Buddhist backgrounds, because they always say, don't hold on to things. Let things go. And what they're really talking about is, as you gain access to recognizing something, let it be okay. And let the fear soften down. It's easy to talk about that, but fear of loss of something pretty special to you, in an exact way, because you end up being a person ends up being very idealistic about what they think they would like to not lose. It's very, very fascinating. It's an important, very important thing to keep allowing yourself to learn that you don't have to be the same as you were in your 20s, in your 30s or 40s if you're older than that. The issue is hopefully that you continue to grow. And that means being okay with what you see and not necessarily giving yourself a hard time for it. That's up to that point. That intensity part is because it's natural that you do that. So here's the next stage. She also says, while breathing exercises help me calm down. Now you're in charge. There, you have to take a look at the breathing. You're in charge again. It'll make you calm down. You won't be nervous. Here's a trick. Use both. So here we are. All of us naturally breathe. So, for a few moments, pay attention to how you breathe. Just Don't make it into something special. Just watch you breathe. Normal, normal, normal. You activate an attending, a paying attention, a kind of, if you can calm the concentration down, it's a kind of soft attending. You're just paying attention. And you can breathe this way. Close your eyes and do it if you can't do it. Eyes open, that's fine. Or eyes open if you want. And when you're doing that, you realize you can use both of those as a technique. Of course, there's really all kinds of different breathing exercises where you can really control things. But the problem is with them, and this is a difficulty, that it affects your system literally. If you do certain breathing exercises, it affects the system internally differently than a normal breathing exercise. Normal is just you breathing, not paying any attention whatsoever, because it's an automatic. It affects the nervous system. If you pay close attention, still breathing differently, it affects the nervous system in a different way. You can read about this, pranayama. But you have the illusion of being in control. Therefore, it takes the pressure off of you going into meditation and having something happen to you. Different kind of formula, but do both. Don't try and do anything special. Just breathe through the nose. In a normal manner, as normal as you can get. And once you start paying attention to it, you will notice that you'll change your breathing. Because, naturally, you want to be in charge. Being in charge makes you feel better. It's something that has been noticed for a long period of time. And we feel a lot better when we're in a bit in charge of things. You can be vulnerable in meditation. There's no question about it. And it can make you, when you're not in charge, a little bit more vulnerable. There's one last part here. I recently noticed the life map gives immediate relief from intense anxiety when I ask for it to slow down. I think that is true from my experience, but you have to have that experience to make it true for you. And then you can wonder about that. Not only are you trying to be in charge by creating a life map with opening the hands, and then hand shift levels, and a different level of engagement can occur through the hands. And you are still partly in charge because you're asking and you're creating something. It's helpful that way. But it means that energy is coming in from another state. I hope that helps a little bit. But, when you come up with things like breathing and meditation, you're writing this as an observation. And use what you observe in conjunction with meditation to make you feel better. It's a good thing to do. And then the anxiety will soften and let go, and you can go back to doing the same thing or that you were doing before, or you can do the same thing as a new thing that you think might be helpful. It really reassures the personality that things are okay, and you're feeling better now. We need that kind of reassurance in everyone's growing process. And the personality can figure out how to reassure itself fairly well if you just pay attention to the idea that most people are vulnerable when it comes to change. And they're not indifferent about how they protect themselves from it. This is a natural thing in our human element. So how are we doing? Okay, this is a question from Rosemary Menard. In Toronto. If we are growing and the purpose of this process is to be helpful to the species, that is, it's also to be helpful to you, each of us, will we see some global progress, some positive change in this lifetime? Or is this going to be experienced in future generations? I have no idea what will happen in the future. But one thing is being curious, a curiosity for me. I don't know whether this makes any sense or not to anybody, but to take an example, we've created a personality pretty well unknowingly. We have insights about certain modes of activity that we believe are very valuable to us. And that's the construction of images that we align with. And often those images are copies of how other folks, usually our parental background, but not only, believe a person should be, and how they should act, and why they should do that. But there's the other aspect. The people that you're around and how they act, often you end up being like them to some degree. Of course, unknown most of the time to you. With more awareness, you can see that that happens all the time. Even if you don't, they're not really close friends of yours or close people that you're close to. So, in a kind of a way, those are love links. You copy others in your early stages of life because they're the guardians of you. And therefore, how they act must be truly the way you should act. Because it's a reflexive thing. They are helping you, unknown to them, by the way. They are helping you to grow up and be like them. That would be something that later on in life would be really hard to believe, because hardly anybody ever thinks that they're like their parental background. And many are really upset if you would ever say such a thing. And they would be right to be upset because they can't see it inside themselves. It doesn't mean they're a bad person at all. It means they are engaged and have been engaged with exactly the same mechanism that every other person on this planet for eons of time has been involved with. Learning how to function on these planes relative to the teachers of those that have been helping them, the guardians of them. I often thought in the past that is to show you that may be how you would like to be. And you're meant to try to work it out and try not to be like that. How true that is, God only knows, because it was just an insight, meaning it could be true, may not be true. However, if it is an insight, if it is something that will help you to actually see that you do that somewhere in your being, in your engagement with life on a daily basis, it may not be exactly the same as how you are trained to do it. Or it could be exactly the same. Or you might be better at it. Or you might notice it and not ever want to be that way, but you notice there's a reflex in you to do something like that. Go slow with that. That's an act of love between you and your guardians. If you are like them, they may not like it, but a part of them will think that there's something good about how you function. Or they may not like it at all because they might think you're emulating them. Or, see a lot of ors here, they might see it and not understand at all that they are like that. And they might think that you're getting that kind of activity from your friends. And of course you're not. And you don't even notice that you're doing it yourself. In all of our lives, everyone thinks that they're an individual, separate from how other people function. This isn't true at all. But it doesn't have to be not true or true. What actually happens is we try to engage in a way with us so that we can be okay with us. That's the kind of self-love. You learn how to do that, again, through observing other people. Figuring it out. In some cases, reflexively doing it in other cases, and or wondering about how to live in this world when you're a teenager or even older. Sometimes it happens early, sometimes it happens late. But our ability to perceive what goes on internally, reflexively, is cursory at best, until your awareness gets a little stronger, and then it drops down a little bit and you can perceive a little bit more. Then you bring in the big guns. This is either really appropriate or really bad. We live and speak through dyadic responses, good, bad, right, wrong, all this kind of thing. We leave the middle ground out. And in fact, the middle ground is really important. It helps us to see both sides of the fence. We have things in us that we would prefer not to observe, and we have things in us that we would like to observe more often. And that is often in our personality expressions. We would like other people to tell us when things are pretty good, and not so often when things aren't doing so well. That's the dilemma that we are involved with. Not a negative thing at all, but we are living beings and very complex, as I said before. And this is a relationship with loving. So, as we are growing, and the purpose of the process is to be helpful to the species, will we see some global progress? If you are growing and you begin to see things and you make some adjustments, you do the best you can with it. And nobody gets this perfect. If they say they've got it all perfect, it's nonsense. Truly. But maybe that's the way they have to talk. Otherwise, they would think they were terrible. Better they do it a little bit in the positive side rather than the negative, because the negative just is not helpful. Observing, trying to understand, recognizing the good in you is important, vital, as a matter of fact. Because often we end up being overly defensive if we can't see that good and allow that good to be noted by us. There's a reason for that. Different in many folks. Often is just simply not being told that there is love for them. Even at that, to be told that someone cares or loves you is not allowed, because too many rules around when and how that should be done, because that's part of the engagement that we have with our guardians. Sometimes a kind of necessary one. What do I mean by that? I mean, somehow you have learned how to survive on these material planes. How to function. Whatever which way it is. Nobody gets it perfect. And I mean that. But in relationship to loving, man alive, this is difficult. If you can understand, and this is hard for all of us to understand, that if we can be internally helpful to ourselves, trying to find a balance, trying not to beat up on folks or ourselves, and do what you can to be constructive. Oh, so hard to speak about this. We are giving to, in this instant, if it be one instant, we are giving to the species an engagement of like order. This sounds really strange. The species currently has over 8 billion bits of information coming at it. Encloses it and expresses how those bits are. If a lot of love is coming in that direction, in other words, an engagement with being of service, or attempting to be at least. And if you're doing that, you'll also notice that you are a human being, and there are times when you're not so loving. Is that okay? Well, it has to be, because that's how our species is. But if you attempt to do something slightly different and try to understand why you're doing it, and recognize that your relationship with that doing is for a purpose, then you as an individual can be helpful to the species. You attempt to grow in the way that you can, recognizing that your physical body, your emotions, and your so-called mental facility, stuff that's in your head, and how you construct stuff through your intensity and scope that you believe is the only one that exists. But many of us then, and try to stretch that a little bit, you will find that you will defend yourself around your idea being only the right one. That you are giving to humanity, to the species, as an argument for the importance of being like that. Excuse me. Yet at the same time, we're also trying to figure out and differentiate what might be reasonable and unreasonable, or not reasonable, in relationship to the information that we have. And we get that information from various places. And it is bent towards how people think we should think. This is normal. And it's always been that way. And it probably will be that way for an awfully long time. So it's complicated. Not so simple. But at the same time, the idea of being a part of something so large is always at our doorstep. And we make of it whatever we can. It changes from this is the right way versus the wrong way. This is the only way to think, or that's the only way to think. Yet we're prone to doing exactly that. As a thinker, you have to engage with you. And as you engage with you, you find out how much love you have for what you say. That's why it's important to allow yourself not necessarily to be always right or always wrong. Process of thinking is not an easy thing. Process of reacting is very simplistic. You know you're right, that's the end of it. That's not thinking. there's a great dilemma that we've had to address and are addressing in our world and have been. We believe that we are able to think. And we react that way. Prove it to yourself. See how much you are in reaction in relationship to what you say. Don't care what you say. See how much you protect yourself. Attempt the best you can to wonder if there's any other way to think. And do that only for the purpose of attempting to understand beyond what you can understand now. If that makes any sense, give it a shot. You may come up with the same answer. Our defenses are just huge. And our take-in information relates to how we feel comfortable thinking and how we want other people to see us and understand us. You can't blame us for that. So thinking is attempting to engage with something beyond what you already have come up with. This is not what we practice very often. The question is a really valuable one. I appreciate the question. And now I think since we do have a North American seminar on the weekend, we'll begin to meditate now, and some of you will hear my voice too often on the weekend. And I wish everybody well. Thanks for those questions. Bye for now.
Namastasye Lalita चक्रराजमहायन्त्रमध्यवर्तिन्ये नमो नमः। चक्रराजमहायन्त्रमध्यवर्तिन्ये नमो नमः। चिराग्निकुण्डसम्भूतसुदेहाये नमो नमः। शशाङ्ककर्णसंयुक्तमुकुटाये नमो नमः। मन्दगमनाये नमो नमः। वन्दारोचनसन्दोहवन्दिताये नमो नमः। अंधर्मुखजनानन्दफलदाये नमो नमः। अंधर्मुखजनानन्दफलदाये नमो Samastataye Namo Namaha. Krishna-bhiti Mahabhiti Vanchanaye Namo Namaha. Om Samastadeva Tanuja Prerakaye Namo Namaha. namo namaha.
we'll just begin to do the balancing and grounding. And good night, everybody. See you on the weekend.